speaker today. And Katie has been a Toastmaster off and on since 2010. She has two dogs, Mabel and Demi. She works at Mott Community College and enjoys pouring her knowledge into the next generation of leaders. Katie's hobby includes biking, hiking, competitive trivia, and crocheting things for friends and removing dog hairs from her clothing. She enjoys traveling the world, checking out the foods that every culture has to offer. Her speech today is from the engaging humor aspect. Know your sense of humor, and her speech is titled Holy Cannoli. Please help me welcome Katie.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and distinguished guests. Picture it! New York City, 2011, my first time ever going to the Big Apple. And I do love apples. My goal going there, besides business, was to ensure that I tried every type of food that I could possibly get my hands on. And I feel that I was able to accomplish much of my goal. You see, when you arrive in New York City in June, one of the best parts about the city is the multitude of street fairs that you will encounter. Walking along. What is that delicious aroma? Oh, let me just float over there and see what it is. That's when I happened upon a street fair of nothing but Colombian and Venezuelan food. I ate my weight in arepas. Arepas full of cheese, arepas full of chicken, arepas full of pulled pork, more arepas that had more cheese. Ah, delightful cheese. I do love New York City. Then I continued to walk. What else could I find? Look at this. Chinatown. I wonder what Chinatown has for me. Chinatown smells suspiciously like fish. Not a big fish fan, but when in Chinatown, one must partake. So I stopped into a Chinese restaurant, tried a little bit of their wares. Not bad at all. Stayed away from octopus, stayed away from the calamari, stayed away from any stinky fish. But I did have some really amazing rice. The other thing about New York City is there's a little area called Little Italy. Now, for those of you that don't know, I am half Sicilian. Not Italian, I am half Sicilian, because there's a very big difference between the two of us. And I thought to myself, what better opportunity than to get a slice of pizza from the homeland? Walking along through Little Italy, the sights, the smells, mostly smells like gutter. It's a delightful smell. And I happen upon Cafe Palermo. And under their sign, it says, the best cannolis in the universe. What you have to understand is that I am not a lover of cannolis. I was born into a Sicilian family. We make cannolis all of the time, but I do not love cannolis. That sign meant very little to me. But they also had a sign for pizza in the window. That's when I decided to walk in. It's an open air cafe. I sat not too terribly close to the street, the smells, remember the smells. I sat there, and this lovely waitress walked up and said, "What are you gonna have, honey?" And I said, "I would love a slice of pizza. Cheese pizza would be great." "Honey, it's only 11:30. The ovens ain't even on yet. They don't come on until the afternoon. I'm gonna offer you a cannoli." A cannoli? Well, once again, when in Little Italy, one must partake in all of the things that it has to offer. Sure, I'll take a cannoli. One cannoli, please. few minutes later, she comes out with the teeniest little plate that has a little doily on it. I have never been served a cannoli so fancy in my life. The cannoli was only about this big, large as my finger. That is not how my family makes cannolis. We make big, fat cannoli. And with the cannoli and the doily on the plate was a fork. For finger food? Sure, why not? I will go ahead and I will give this all a try. And I'm sitting in Little Italy. I'm looking out upon the streets. I have a cannoli sitting in front of me. And I think to myself, this is what life is all about. And I pick up the cannoli and I take a bite. Time stood still. All of the sounds of the city dimmed all the way down. I could hear the blood rushing through my veins. I could hear my heart beating. And just then I looked out, and a dove, a very dirty dove, flew up from the gutter. And I could hear the wings flapping as it flew off into the sky. And I am fairly certain there was an olive branch in its mouth. And one single tear rolled down my cheek. This cannoli was the best cannoli I've ever had in my entire life. And I have tried many cannoli, but this cannoli spoke to my soul. This cannoli wrapped me in its wings of love and said, girl, this is where life begins for you. And I thought to myself, this cannoli means so much to me right now that it should be canonized by the Catholics and turned into the saint of all cannolis, the holy cannoli. And when the waitress came back and she saw that tear, she said, we got you, don't we? I said, ma'am, this is the best cannoli in the universe. Thank you.